accessories to a murderous enemy, and their operations based in Phnom Penh are viewed with suspicion. But if the agencies pull out of the border, they fear that their Western funding will dry up. Both agencies are deeply embarrassed by their involvement here, and many of their dedicated officials would prefer that the whole operation was wound down. One of them said angrily, "Look, we're being manipulated by governments, there's nothing we can do about it, but I'm not going to say that to your camera." Another said, "All we're doing is feeding an army." It must be surely one of the supreme ironies of our time that we in the West are using perhaps the most fanatical, extreme left-wing regime, the Nazis of our time, as the proxies in the continuing war in Indochina. The British government has the credit of being the only Western government to have ended its recognition of Pol Pot, and yet we still support Pol Pot through the back door. Last May, the Foreign Office instructed the British delegate to the World Health Authority to vote in favour of the credentials of the Khmer Rouge.
To allow that force to come back in here will be one of the crimes of history. I think the failure of people like myself will be not to point out that that is still an active force in this country. Up on the borders is being encouraged, and if it came back here, we would see more slaughter.
But the slaughter has already begun again. This unique train, having carried seed to the north, returns to Phnom Penh like a human ant-heap, with at least 5,000 passengers on board, slung in hammocks between the wheels, embracing the funnel, sardined everywhere. It's like a marvelous moving carnival. 2 days later, we returned to film the train again, but it was late. The station master, speaking his first English in 5 years, said, "Sir, my train is late for 2 reasons. First reason, the driver is unfortunately no good. He's learning, you see. Second reason, it is raining cats and frogs." But the train was late for neither of these reasons. It had been ambushed by the Khmer Rouge with rockets and automatic weapons, and more than 150 people had been killed. This teeming market in Phnom Penh represents Cambodia's precarious normality. The West and China want Vietnam to withdraw from Cambodia, but it's patently obvious to those of us who have been here that while Vietnam itself is threatened by China, and while the Khmer Rouge remain